So welcome everyone to Our Films Entertainment's first ever live webcast. Woo-hoo! Yeah. So Our Films has been around for 15 years, so this is a very special occasion for this group of people. My name is Lonnie Adams, and I'm with Trinity Wolf Productions. And I've had the pleasure to work with Our Films on a couple of occasions. And I met them through Brian, right here, at Specs Howard School of Media Arts. So,
how you doing tonight, Lonnie?
Doing great, Brian. Thank you so much. So now we just want to get together tonight and just show you a little bit about how special this group of people are and, you know, talk about their past and what they may have for the future. All right? So we're going to start off meeting the first group of people we have over here. This is Tony. Tony, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Tony. I'm a Scorpio. Long walks on the beach, and I enjoy a good video game every now and then.
So are you single, Tony?
Yeah, single and ready to mingle.
All right.
Ladies, mothers, lock up your daughters.
He'll be at Danny's.
Yeah. Partial to anybody, you know.
It's fine where it was.
No, it wasn't.
What is going on over there, Sean?
Technical difficulties, don't worry. Bypass it. I'll be back.
The only reason I didn't do that is because it's going to focus between the chair and us.
Yeah,
That's the only reason I had to put it there.
All right. So sitting next to Tony, we have Sean.
How's it going?
I'm doing great today, Sean. How you doing?
Good.
All right. Next
No,
to
everybody,
Sean.
this is not Jesus from The Walking Dead.
It's Jesus, bitch.
You know what? I'm glad you're not, because I would have some issues with you from this season. All right. So we'll go ahead and a little bit of their history. So Tony, your first film was in 2008's Corner.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
How was your experience with that?
You know, that was such a fun night. I really wasn't expecting to be in it as much as I was, but when I got there, I felt the camaraderie. A lot of good people, a lot of fun. It was good times. Good times.
Oh, that's amazing. And then also, it also said that you starred in Our Film's first and only horror series.
Yeah, I did. Michael James Thomas. That was something that we ended up doing. It was just a single movie, but we liked it. We liked how it felt, and we decided to build upon it. And we ended up building it into the canon of some other movies in Our Films too, like The Third Wheel. So it was really neat.
Nice.
Yeah, had a good time.
All right, let's move on to Sean. So Sean, it shows that you first joined in 2010, and you had a supporting role in Justice Vengeance.
Justified Vengeance. Yeah.
Is that how I typed it?
Our lovely editor.
Justice Vengeance?
Yes.
So, how was that project?
Oh, it was interesting for the first film. I mean, nerves, but luckily working with a good group of guys. And we had a few hang-ups during the movie. And I was only, actually what was funny about that movie is the fact that I was only supposed to be a quick shot character, and I ended up becoming one of the mains.
Nice. So now, you also did the prosthetics for the demon creature in 2011's Phasmophobia. Am I saying that right?
Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia.
You sound like Lee Thomas.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I ended up doing the wings for that, and a couple of the arm, the horns, and the leg. Brian did the special effects makeup for it. Those wings were a process and a half to make, and they ended up being all buckling underneath their own weight. We had to jerry rig them and duct tape them to everything just to keep them looking right at the end.
It was a learning experience, but it you know, proper lighting and proper editing effects, it could have looked a lot better than what a raw product was.
Yeah.
What the raw product was.
But, you know, it was a great learning experience. It was my first time undertaking a project like that. That was one of your first full facial prosthetics for a movie, wasn't it, Brian?
Mm-hmm. And again, along with the lighting and along with with everything. I mean, you can. The funny thing about it is that everything was just raw, natural. You can see the outlines of the prosthetics. You can see,
which you came a long way from.
Yeah.
I still like your round the bend throat slash effect though.
That one was fun. That was
your first one.
You guys on the demon was great for me. I mean, being in the makeup chair and seeing you guys create the demon for Condemned was awesome.
Yeah.
That was just. I think that shows
I mean,
the measuring stick of where you guys were to where you guys ended up. You know,
it was a learning experience.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of the prosthetics, I will have to say this. I want to give a shout out to an actress that is not here with us today, Sarah. Sarah Barone, or Sarah. Excuse me, I didn't say her last name correctly.
Sarah Barone, she was a true trooper throughout that whole filming of that movie.
Exactly. She, with her acting, actually played off the broken wings and. Yes.
So you're gonna get into the music.
Guys, just to let you know, if anybody that doesn't know us, this is actually us. These are the little comments that we do to each other all day long.
So, okay, so speaking of the music then, let's move on to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, I hear that you have a little bit of a musical background.
Yes, sir. I've been I've been singing, writing lyrics since I was a little kid. Like, I love music, and acting is my go-to, but I've always been interested in music and whatnot. I even wrote a song for one of the movies we did. Was it? Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
I think I love him.
So your first breakout role was a psychotic hitchhiker in was it 2008's The Third Wheel. How was your experience working on that?
Yeah, that was actually amazing. Yeah, that was one of the first major roles that I did. From there, kind of took off and doing a bunch of stuff. But it was a great movie. I don't know what to say. It's funny.
It was sweet. Your stash and your wig.
Yeah.
He definitely looked like a Taylor Tucky David Crockett.
I will agree. I've seen that movie more times than I would like to admit, because it was one of our first ones.
Right.
I think my favorite part
that was before I even came around, and when me and Nick was hanging out at his house at that time, he's like, we started talking film, and he brought me in to show me that film, and there Maya was.
That was the first one I showed.
How's it going, guys?
I watched it when we were in the process of remaking it, and I was just like, wow. I mean, your character, you committed to it though. That's what's important though. You definitely committed to that character.
Watch a side by side comparison.
Oh
yeah, totally different.
Even when it was still the same angle, the same everything.
Yeah.
Dude, night and day.
Yeah.
Night and day.
Big time.
Nice.
I think my favorite part of that film, though, was like Mark Penrod legitimately thought in the beginning. Like, I was playing myself in the first part, and he thought I was going on a date, like leaving the film. And he was so angry at me.
So pissed.
He's like,
things like this.
he's like, well,
each other
screw you
through
then.
the
We're going to do the film without you. I'm like,
All right, there's always a prank or two throughout the films, or when we finish the prank. Like the Mentos and Diet Coke that I got Nick with at the end of Justified Vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
Which was not a smart idea on my in my hand, because if you notice one of the pictures that is on his profile, he's got one of my dragon blades, which is about this long, and he's got his hand around my me, holding that big ass blade.
Oh.
All right. Well, here.
Pranks do fly around the screen.
Let's move on to Brian now.
Hello.
So, Brian, so you're one of the co-founders of Our Films.
Yes, that is correct.
So when did you start Our Films?
The start of Our Films kind of happened between a crossover between our backyard wrestling.
So cool.
It was for our Monster Mash Halloween.
Yeah, we were doing a promo for one of our backyard Halloween wrestling events, and
Honestly, I don't know either. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was organic.
It's hard to
Just-
tell because we've been doing the backyard wrestling for so long, and then we start getting into the video aspect of it, and 2 years later, once the wrestling started to die down, I mean, it was still going around that time, but it died down a little bit, and next thing you know, we're doing Rose Lane.
The theatrics behind the backyard wrestling were amazing. I got to sit through one of their first. It wasn't their first, but it was I think one of your last ones, and it was freaking amazing. Like I remember Derek, he took me to one, and the show you guys put on, like it showed early on that you guys were committed to it.
Your battle royal at Hamilton. You guys were all on the hill trying to knock each other down the hill. That was fucking awesome.
Was that? Did you go to the one where Jason and Derek? Was it Jason and Derek
Were the cops?
were the cops, and they put me and Brian in handcuffs?
It was a Halloween one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wrestling Bad Boys.
Oh, goddamn.
Kenny and Larry's house.
Wrestling Bad Boys.
Oh, we pulled out all the pyros and the background.
Coming on a boat ride.
Yeah.
So now you're also the lead special effects, and you're a writer for the majority of your movies. Is that correct?
That and acting and
Jack of all trades.
He's the whole total package.
well, looking to, now that further in school or completing school, now learning to edit. I mean, it's the one main reason why I went is because I wanted to learn how to edit. So, I mean, we all kind of do jack of all trades. Every one of us.
True.
I mean,
True.
There isn't one person that just only has one job. Everybody has
Sometimes I wish.
multiple jobs, and
We work as a unit. Like we just dabble. We learn from each other. We're growing,
shifting.
learning new things.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, whenever I'm working on a prosthetic, Brian's right there. Nick's right there. Jeremiah's
I'm somewhere
right
in the
there.
back.
We're all there working on the prosthetics, getting everything
Somewhere in the
fit
back.
right. Hell, even a ride to the freaking Home Depot.
House starts to smell like hot dogs afterwards.
Oh, that was great.
All right. So we'll go ahead. We'll finish off the introductions, then we'll go on to last but not least, Nick Barone. All right, so you're also a co-founder of our films.
Yep.
And also you're the lead editor.
Yes. Although there's been a few films in here, and it's funny, we were just talking about we're all jack of all trades and everything. I will be the first to admit I have a control problem. I do.
Man,
You want to say anything?
really?
Just a little
birds out of the cage.
Just a little.
Subject.
I mean,
he has
in my
me-
defense.
Hey, can we zoom into the back of his shirt real
Hey.
quick?
He's got his rifle shirt on for those that's not paying attention to that.
Sorry, Mike
particular
Pio.
bit.
Sorry.
In my defense, when we started our films, I was editing Rose Lane from a VCR.
Talking
Okay.
about Michael Goes.
I will give you credit.
So from working from that and working my way up, I almost
He has
felt
earned
that
it.
I almost felt like I can care less about anything.
If it wasn't for the editing, there wouldn't be no films.
Right.
Thank you.
And it's been the main passion of his for like what, over almost close
15
to
years.
15
Yep.
years, yeah.
So we don't help him with that. He just goes in his little dark room and just.
I mean,
It didn't even come up. It didn't even start out really from Rose Lane. Okay, when we were doing BCW, the backyard wrestling, we started out, obviously just doing our events and our house shows and just regular events. But like later down the road, we actually started doing like storylines and like behind the ring and all that, like you'd see in WWE. From there, that's when we started really like, at least like, let's edit, let's do this, let's put these together, let's put them out. Even though back then we didn't know how we were doing when it came down to putting shit out there, but
It was entertaining, though.
but it was, and we did some cool stuff that was
Michael Goes Mobile.
That was
about 2
Mark's
seconds.
idea. That was Mark's idea.
I love Michael Goes Mobile. I love it. It's a classic.
Remote controls can help with horror films, just to let you know.
I love you, Mark.
If you ever see this, and in our film's film, no, it's an Easter egg from Michael Goldsmith.
Okay.
No, we only do a couple of Easter eggs per film.
So now that we've gotten past the introductions, we do have actually a couple questions from the Our Films page.
All right.
Starting off with Megan. So she wants to know, what is everyone's favorite R film movie? We'll start off.
That's a tough one.
Right. So we'll start to the left with Tony.
That's 15 years of fun.
The Condemned was my favorite movie because we shot it as a part of a first 48. We had to do that movie in 48 hours, right? Yep. And we did it. We pulled it off in 48 hours. We edited, shot, did makeup for, found scouting location, everything, and we all came together that night, guys. We all really did. It was awesome. It was a truly fun night for me.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Oh God. Mine actually has to be. I've got actually two of them that rank up there pretty high. One is always going to be Justified Vengeance. I mean, just straight up, simple, and to the point. It was the breakout. I mean, I stutter a lot if you can't tell from the scenes, and I mean, yes, we do with this on a daily basis. to all the films that I've ever done, but that one, it's like as soon as I got behind the camera, the stuttering just stopped.
Yep.
And it was kind of weird. And then the second one, I would have to sit there and say it has to be Deception of Darkness. Even though I did not star in that one, that was me and Nick at Denny's at just 2:30 in the morning. We had an idea. We thought about it. We literally had it casted. I mean, that was a Rolling Stones. We heard. I was listening to Sympathy for the Devil. Before I went to Denny's, I said, "Hey, Nick, what about this?" Shot him the idea. We liked it. We bounced the idea off of it. We had it almost written out immediately. We had it casted before we even left Denny's.
Which I want to say real quick, thank you to Becky and Nate.
And Josh Craig, who couldn't be here with us tonight.
Yeah. Nice, okay.
So, I mean, that movie was actually literally one of the fastest big length production films that we actually pulled off that quick.
And you know, that also was our first film, if I'm thinking correctly, I think it's our very first film that it was all original music.
Yes, it was all original music.
And it was the CC Bright with that.
It was all original. We had the veteran, our veteran actor, Jeremiah Roberts, and we had Josh Gregg, which was his...
He did an amazing job. Yeah, this is
his very first film that he's ever done. My kid was in it. I mean, I've got a lot of things to be proud about that one, but I would have to say Justified Vengeance and Deception of Darkness is probably my two.
All right. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
I'm going to go with Sean. I got two. Justified Vengeance, hands down. That, like you said, it was like one of our breakout films. Like, we've done films for a long time. That was like the major one where we all got together, and there was just so much going on in that film. One of my favorite characters I've ever got to play in over 10, 15 years is Detective Dale Peters. Yeah, you'll forever fuck. You'll forever fuck. Hands down,
a little itchy chest here.
Favorite character.
Yeah, the death of a $150 pellet gun on that one.
Yeah.
You can actually, if you listen to it, you can still hear the crunch.
But that was just such a great film where we all came together and you just had the villains and the good guys and just so much going on. And we got our special effects and everything, and it was just all around. It was a great film. Like, it was before we went to school, a few of us went to school and everything, and it was still the effort we put into it. You can see it was amazing. And my second one for sure would be the remake to The Third Wheel. That was a great film.
It was.
It was. Everyone that played it, Tony did an amazing job playing my brother.
Derek's face would disagree.
But I know. Sorry, Derek. Again, I apologize if you're watching this.
Going off of the bloopers of this, for those that don't know, would you care to talk about this? Because I wasn't there for the film, but I heard this.
We had a scene where Jeremiah was going to pistol whip one of the hostages that he had taken at the house. Well, he had a replica of a 9mm. Well, when he went to pistol whip one of our co-actors, Derek, he hit the button that slid out the
clip.
The magazine.
Yeah, it slid out the
that came
magazine,
right
the
in the
clip, and it clocked him right in the jaw.
He literally got pistol whipped.
Bless Derek though, he still wanted to go through.
Derek wanted to run it, and Nick was like, "Did you get that?" And we were like, "Yeah, we got that."
Also,
again.
Also, speaking of accidents, I would actually have to bring back Justified Vengeance just one more time, because the best accident that we've ever had that we rolled with is when Brian went through my neighbor's fence.
Oh, wow.
You have never seen 5 guys go into another person's yard, fix the fence as quick as we did, and was back on our side, and we're like, guys, don't film here. We got to stand here so that way they don't film here.
If you watch it for 5, it's a couple frames after Brian gets swung into the fence. just tap it. The last frame, you couldn't get much because Brian's face just went. It was out of just. He went from like total badass just out of character. Like, oh shit! So it was really hard to cut it, but if you watch it frame by frame, you can see it.
Nice.
And it was awesome because it was like one of the biggest mistakes, but it was so awesome the way that we all just played off of it.
It was fun.
All right, go ahead, Brian. Your turn.
I mean, yeah, Justified Vengeance, Fast and Romeo was great. The Condemned was fun to be a part of, but my 2 favorite, I would have to go with the original Rose Lane. It's just we partied all night long as we filmed. We didn't care if we made. I mean, we cared if we made mistakes, but we kept rolling with it. We kept doing it. We kept trying. We got so many people in the shot as we were trying to film. Oh man! And then after that, I really loved. My favorite was Time Capsule.
Oh my god!
Because I got to go out of my element and not play a horror character or somebody dying or somebody killing somebody, and I had fun.
We all had
That
fun.
silent
That was a
film
fun day.
I was letting this girl. I was letting Marcelo Ramirez slap me in the face. I was falling on the floor. I was just making goofy faces with my
Doing the
funny
Charlie
looking mustache.
Chaplin type
Oh
deal.
yeah,
It's like, hey,
that was definitely a fun film to shoot.
Okay. Now go ahead, Nick.
I got a few as well. I'd say just because of sentimental value, I still catch myself watching it over and over. Would be the original Third Wheel. As much as I love the remake, I mean the remake had like one of the best surprise kills ever with you coming in.
oh yeah,
Like that still shocks people.
that
to this
was
day.
the best shot.
But-
Actor, yeah.
But being on set would probably be like to be the first Third Wheel, the original one. It was so laid. It was probably the first time in our films that it was just really laid back.
Wasn't that what it was? Kind of one of our last minute too. Like, I mean, we had it planned,
Yes.
but we didn't have like an idea. I mean, it
We
was a
went.
rough idea.
We went. Yeah.
Because I remember you had picked up Derek from work that day.
Yep.
And we just kind of were like, okay, this is the basis of what we're gonna do, and let's just see where it goes.
Yeah. And then I'd say probably that. I love, as much as I love the original, I'm probably going to have to go with the remake of Rose Lane.
Oh yeah.
And not just because it's one of our more recent ones. It's just the fact that, like, it's one of the more better made remakes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, you watch it and you legitimately feel doomed. The entire movie. The entire movie, it's not like, we don't purposely try to make it depressing, but it's people who were in it who acted, and it was so fantastic. Like the whole story, like a broken family moving in, trying to move on. Like it was just one of those things that really made you feel for the characters.
Well, just that inspiration, like Insidious, did play a part. Like
It was the inspiration
yeah, and it just had that
for certain
feel.
things in there. And I know Derek and Brian took the helm on that project, and they did a fantastic job. I know they both pretty much wrote it. Derek had a big part in like the original screenplay. Like, this is what we want to do. This is what I want to do. The original was kind of like Derek's vision. So we shot it at his parents' house. It was like the day before they had moved. And but I think that my all-time would probably have to be the remake of Cornered.
Wow, yeah, that was.
And the reason for that is strictly location.
Yep.
Strictly location.
That house, man.
There was an abandoned house that was in the backyard of Tony's buddy's house.
It was in the backyard of backyards.
Yeah, it was in the middle of the woods. And
And
like we had to get a crew to go back there just to make sure the house was safe to go through.
I had to get tested for asbestos. It was
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But
This house had no driveway. It had no street. It was in the middle of the woods, but it was a huge estate.
And it was
It
like
was
a spear.
huge.
The house was like what? 3 stories?
Yep.
Yeah.
it was
It was like
It
a
was
golf
tri-level.
ball.
It was a tri-level, but it was like a spear. It's almost like the top of the Epcot Center.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that like, and it's the best interpretation between like the remake. Beth Kaufman played the original psychopath in that movie. She did awesome. Renee did absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah.
Is a character. And Renee is a naturally
Renee was
goofy
great.
person. So like,
Renee
she's a naturally
did an
happy,
amazing job.
goofy, go lucky person.
I couldn't have picked a better person for that.
But you
No.
turn that camera on, she scares the hell out of anybody in that damn house back there. Especially what was it? I forgot who the last two was. It me, you?
She slapped
Just
the
me and you.
shit
No,
out
we're
of me.
killed.
No. We were back there when you guys went back to the house because we had to like.
Yeah, I think it was us.
Was it just us two?
Yeah,
was it
yeah,
us
it
two and
was.
Tony? Yeah, but anyway, I love the remake of Cornered, and we actually, thanks to Nate Moody of Quacker's Video Productions, we were able to film that. Like the whole segment is kind of a Dateline NBC type thing.
Yeah.
We had access to a real local television studio,
Nice.
Right.
Yep.
so I was able to sell it.
Now I do want to drop real quick back to what you were saying about Rose Lane. I have to give credit to this man right here. Any character he plays, I know we give him shit about JD. When he devotes himself to a character, he goes 110% into
Thanks,
it.
bud.
You really do.
That's truth. That is truth.
Appreciate that.
Okay, you know what? And
I
that kind
so
of
too.
leads into the next question, actually, from Megan, because she wants to know what are some of you guys' influence that made you guys go into film and acting. So who wants to take that out?
Go for it.
You right? All right.
I mean, besides Jeremiah, I think I could speak for the rest of us. Jeremiah always wanted to do the acting, but I think that if it wasn't for Nick getting the camera rolling, who knows what would have happened.
Yeah, I
Nick
have
is
to
your
agree with
inspiration,
that.
yeah.
Definitely.
Nick, were you inspiring everyone?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
can. Yeah.
His go-to attitude when it came to
You
film.
brought me in, bro. You brought me in for the Killers Within.
Brought
yeah,
me
I mean,
in
we all
with
kind of just,
Well,
Justified.
I can say, I've always, since I was a little kid, acting. That's been
Yeah.
my thing. When I met Nick, the first time I met him, first night, I remember me and Derek bought him like an Aladdin DVD because Derek's like, this guy. He's like, this guy, man. He's like, he's a movie guy. And like, the whole night we're getting drunk.
Show me the world.
Yeah, we're getting drunk together, showing each other the world. I'm telling you. We were on the magic carpet and everything.
oh, new world.
Oh, God.
The next, so when's our film's musical coming out there?
That's in the works, man.
Coming in 2018.
Actually, the ball was kind of rolling on that.
Twice.
Yes.
We were close twice.
The Jets are gonna rumble
Hey, guys.
tonight.
I will work camera that film during that. I'm just letting you know.
I
You
wouldn't
do not want
just
me
so you know you're
saying.
a part
I'm
of
just
that.
throwing that out. I'll be the camera guy. I'll be the light guy.
We could do a Sweeney Todd type deal.
So
Yeah,
there
no.
you go.
You don't want me singing. That would just turn it straight to a horror film.
So now, this next question is for anyone that wants to answer it. So, what do you think the hardest part has been on making some of your films?
Oh,
I mean,
oh yeah, money for sure. But
Time constraints with children.
yeah, maybe transportation in some areas because we go a lot of different places. We look, our locations range, you know. So
Yeah, we're not.
and we're all spread pretty thin as it is. We're with our he's in Howell, Brian's out here in Port Huron. I'm in
Children
Kent.
money.
Yeah.
But I'd also say, I mean, we're very appreciative of every single person we work with, but it's like getting on the same page. Like when you work with new people, it can be difficult.
Yeah.
But I mean, on set itself, like getting everyone to because everyone has their own way of doing things.
Yeah.
And it's like being able to communicate because we have a certain way of doing shit. We've been doing shit together for 15 years where if you look at me a certain way, well, I'm goofing off or you're goofing
We
off.
can
You
Tony,
bust
know
just be
what
like,
it is.
We're at the point right now to
Just
where
do
we could bust out a half-hour full-length feature in a day.
Yep.
That's what we did with Rose Lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deception in Darkness 2, I mean, that was done in about a day. Yeah, 2 days.
So let's go to Brian on this one then, since Brian is the writer of the majority of the movies. So when you have a vision for a certain film, what is the process you take to make that a reality? What's the creative process?
The first thing I try to do is try to picture who is going to be playing these roles. Since we don't really get, since we don't really pay people for professional acting, it's kind of hard sometimes to fill the roles. So we know who's going to play the roles half the time and try to write the story around their strengths.
Okay.
Make sure that they're acting-wise, talent-wise, they're going to be able to pull it off. And
Hence the reason I've never taken a lead on any of them.
no,
I'm always good as a support
besides
character.
acting is just, you also want to know your location, too. I mean, knowing your location and actors is...
I did that too. Like what you're saying, like another thing that we have done, and obviously people who are fans of us and our films, and people who've seen a bunch of them, you'll notice that we have a lot of the same people, which is usually one of us 5 playing a role in pretty much almost every movie. And that's another thing too, because everybody's doing this for free. Like they're taking time out of their day.
Pro bono, baby.
So like when you see and it's not just because of that. I mean, you're a naturally gifted actor, so like you're able to do pretty much any role that's thrown at you. And we've seen that throughout the years. Same thing for Tony, but it's like, that's also like, we can't really, it's not that we can't depend, but people are busy in their lives. So when we want to get done on something, that's really where it's like a limited choice.
And not only that, I mean, Jeremiah is such a versatile actor. We get an actor that calls off. We need somebody right now, even if it's a walk-on 2-second role, we can call up Jeremiah. He's there. He's there. He's going to do the role to the best of his abilities. Tony's another one. Tony's another one. I'm one. Brian's one. I mean, we all there to fill in those specific roles.
The size of the role never really matters.
Yeah,
it's if we can help the group, if we can contribute, we're gonna do it.
Okay. Before we get too further, branching off with this, I mean, when it comes to the writing, our process is, since we have limited amount of actors, limited amount of places to film at, it's the easiest to know who it is, where it is. That way you can get a story going and know your budget.
Okay. So now do you feel that the chemistry between you 5 is what makes your films work?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Because if there was animosity on the screen, we can't pull this.
Even though we can annoy the crap out of
Oh, God.
It's like a brotherhood, though. It's like your brother pisses you off, but in the same breath, you're able to just brush it off and be like, okay, let's do what we need to do.
Except for this one.
Yeah.
So
It's been an up and down.
so what is your opinion on collaborating with others outside of yourself?
Oh, I love
It's always
I
good.
love to. Yeah.
That's what gets us our resources.
Yeah.
We can meet
Branch
other
out.
people, branch out. Yeah, exactly.
Equipments that we don't have, or
That's key. You
actors
just stick
that
to
we ain't
yourself.
got, or
Oh yeah, you can't be closed off with this line of work at all. You have to
I mean,
be open-minded.
Look, throughout the years, it's been amazing how many people we've met just from the few people that went to class for film or media arts. I mean, we met through class. We Nick has met people through class that have helped us on quite a number of films, and
We won an award with them.
Yeah.
James Thomas.
Yep.
That was Ron Griffin, Jason Haynes, and Kyle Hayatowski.
I mean, look, bringing Nate Moody into it, dude. Our lighting extraordinaire. Like,
exactly.
yeah. Helps us
CC,
so much.
CC, who's
And-
made some
Yeah,
amazing
CC.
soundtracks.
She sure
Did
has.
a great
Yes.
job with
Sure has.
film and
I mean, everybody that we've. Well, I mean, there is sometimes that we get our arguments that happen. Like too many people are seeing different, not eye to eye. And we do get into our arguments, and because things are heated, time schedules are blown.
Honestly, but I only see things. The only time I've ever seen things get heated is when we're doing what we usually do anyway, and it's getting off track.
Yeah.
Because then we get irritated. We're running out of time. We're rushing shit.
And it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault.
It's your fault.
Right?
It's your fault.
But it
Apparently, it's Tony's fault.
You're the one we're always telling to come on, dude.
God damn it,
Behind the scenes of Time Capsule, he's singing The Lion King.
Yeah.
Hey man, we had a good duet going. Okay.
So Tony, since it's your fault, what
Yeah.
are some of the things that can happen to make it go smoother on set?
Well, I have ADD.
Don't be an ass.
I have ADD. So I mean, what I think the biggest thing that could happen is look, kitty.
Focus.
Right.
See? Focus.
I mean, yeah. The best thing to do is Oreos. No, but
It's got a
seriously,
small case of ADD.
just a small case.
Okay. So we have another message
They say
from
creative.
another fan. That's a question for you. It's from Teresa. And what do you think you'll be doing to expand in the future?
Ooh.
Hey, Mom.
That is a very good question.
That all depends on who's on page. Yeah. That all depends on who's on board. It all depends on how much effort people want to put into it, what type of time they want to put into it. I mean,
We're constantly
the
growing, that's
resources.
for sure.
The resources are growing. Our communication line is growing. Our friend group is growing. I mean, it could be big. We could.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to blow smoke up anybody's ass.
I was one of the name of a movie you were a part of.
You like that, don't you? But like, no matter what happens, whether it's 5-10 years from now, our films is still going to be there.
Yeah.
Whether we're churning them out or doing a film every year, if we're doing one every year and a half, 2 years, whatever, like
It's a self-sustaining entity.
Now, we have given it enough life. I mean, we have put enough of our own souls into this thing to give it one.
the overall plan is to make films, make animation. Yeah. Even go into the freelance business and do weddings, photography, just video media production. I mean, that's what it
Live
is.
shows. I mean,
My number one thing, expanding the audience. That's like a major thing that I'd like to do. Which between marketing, promotions, stuff like that, is the best way to do. But
Okay. So speaking of that, then, Jeremiah, would you say it's been difficult growing your fan base or having people participate in sharing your films?
in general, like no, it has. Yes, it has.
Yeah.
No, because like if you look at a lot of independent films out there, they have a certain following, and it's like trying to get people on board with that, which I completely understand. People got their lives. No one's sitting on Facebook 24/7.
No one's
YouTube,
watching their normal
but
shows throughout the week.
Yeah, we try our best to like bring 5-8 minute short films, something that you can just grab
just
on the go
something
and
for somebody to watch. Just like, hey, if you like it, share it.
Yeah.
like share
Continue
that
with
to your
you
friends.
know.
Like branch it out. The more we can get it out there, it's like we are trying to share what we love to do. It's our passion. We love making films. We're not making any money doing this.
Oh, I
And
wish,
it's like,
but no.
yeah, we wish, but it's like
We
the
be
more,
spending that money.
yeah, we do.
We're spending that money.
And it's like we spend that money, and it's like it'd be nice to have people that can watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Give us suggestions. You have something you want to see, something you
exactly.
like. Have at it. Like we're here.
Now, so have you ever thought about trying any crowdfunding or Kickstarters or anything like that? to
I
raise
tried
money
it.
for
I
you?
tried it recently, and it did not work out. I had one friend that I was in the Navy with that donated. One friend, he hits me up and he's like, "Hey man, I donated your film." I was like, "Thanks, you're the only one. I didn't get anything."
we all share.
But again, tight economy, totally understandable.
It still could happen.
You know, we also try to do our premieres back in the day but this was back before any of us went to school. This was back before we actually had any decent equipment to use. We also try to do premieres back in the day to where we'd show our films.
And we have talked about doing that.
We get a small, tiny little percentage out of it and just put it away, but it never really happened.
Okay. So now we have another 2 messages on here for you. From Megan. By the way, love you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
love you, man.
Go home.
Get a job.
Welcome back. And then also she wants to know, is there anything in the works in the near future?
Yeah.
We got a
you
couple
could say
things
there
cooking,
is.
but nothing like concrete.
Nothing's
right
set
now.
in stone at the minute. We're all
I think
Like I sent you that script thing
Yeah.
to work on, and there's a couple things.
winter
in there,
time
but
has
I-
always for sure been a
Yeah.
dead time for us, just because.
Plus,
You
Jake
babies.
just had a baby.
Yeah,
get
get
a
babies.
baby.
Derek
coming in
just
the
had a
mix.
baby.
Yeah. By the way,
Congratulations. Derek.
thanks to Derek and Hillary for
Hi.
having the newest member of our our film squad.
Last
We got another. We got another cast member.
But,
Nick, say hi to little
hold on,
Olivia.
hold on. Hold on.
Love you, sweetie.
Look, nothing's set in stone at this moment, but don't be surprised if 18 and 19 turn out to be big years.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's for damn sure. Because believe it or not, I mean, with us, you never really know. Yeah, nothing could be on the plans right now. We could talk here for 5 minutes, and all of a sudden we
Yeah,
got 6 big
Now
movies
that,
coming out.
now that multiple people have cameras, now that we have multiple connections, there's going to be more coming very soon.
See, now that's good to hear. Now let's go ahead and get a little bit more personal now. Let's, yes, very personal. You ready?
He's gay.
What did you eat for dinner?
Well, it's out now. It's out of the bag.
Let's start off with Nick. Okay, so you're the lead editor. Yeah, it's too late. You're right. You're next to me, so you're the first one to go. So you're the lead editor. How did you start getting into editing?
Besides what the VCR thing from Rose Lane earlier, that's basically how I got into the editing. It was because of the BCW and
Love of horror films.
yeah, definitely love horror films.
Because if it wasn't for this, he'd want to be a tornado chaser.
You want to get a tornado chaser?
I would too.
and even then, I'd still be working with.
There was another
We got cows.
There was another Nick.
Hold on.
An evil Nick.
And I killed him.
And he killed him.
But no, in kind of branching off earlier and everything, even with the editing, I've never ever lost passion for it, obviously. And with the specs in 2012, graduated and ended up getting a job at Donor Advertising. And from there, like it can only get better from here, because being able to do for a living what you have a passion for is like the greatest thing in the world. Like going into work and being a part of like the in-house production crew that we have at Donor as well is just awesome. So we'd be able to shoot our own stuff. We get to cut it. Being able to see it on TV. A couple years ago, I ended up cutting a spot for Minute Maid when aired on the Olympics, and it was really cool.
It was actually really awesome being next to Nick on one of them during his own bachelor party, and we're watching the TV inside the room, and all of a sudden one of his commercials come on, and he's like, "Oh my God, that's me! I did that!"
Yeah, that's before I got drunk.
Before we all got drunk.
But yeah, it's only better from here. And
So-
Because
it feels good too.
Jay and my
because
lunch.
even loving editing, Jeremiah loves to edit, and Brian loves to edit, so it's good to almost get to share that with you guys, and it's not like
So are you saying that you're happy taking that heavy load off of yourself?
sure, yes.
Well, I mean, that
15 years
and that's the nice thing about it, though, is that now that every one of us are starting to get cameras, are starting to get lights, are starting to learn to edit and everything.
The knowledge
that's,
too.
Yep.
And knowledge.
More
That's why
knowledge.
you're going to be able to expect more. He could go out and work on a project with someone. He could go out and work with a project with someone. I could work with a project with somebody. They can work with a project with somebody.
And that's what's cool, because we're all comfortable enough where it's like two of us don't have to be here, and three of you guys are doing something. You guys show us footage. So even if, like, say I'm editing something, I can be like, "Hey, dude, I got these 2 scenes, or I got this edit. Why don't you take a look at it, see what you want to do?" Like we did something similar to that with Indrid.
Yeah, me and you did Indrid, yeah.
Yeah, where we met up at a Starbucks, I think it was.
Yeah, we just cranked it out, and we went out in Ann Arbor to one of the parks out there, and we shot it.
And then not to mention, everyone loves film festivals.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody I've met along the way, outside of our films, we love doing film festivals. And
So what would you say was our film's strongest year?
Yeah.
What was the year of
15,
the
14.
third wheel remake?
Yeah.
15, 14.
15, 14.
15,
I'd
yeah,
say,
14, 15.
2014.
That's when the quality of
It got
films
went to another
started
level.
Are you talking about strongest year, meaning like
as many.
In terms of like how much production.
It went to
the
another
best
level.
products.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, 14, 15. 14 is we won the awards.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
2011 was when we were on Fox 2.
Yeah.
That was like the beginning of it. I mean, actually, 2010 when we had the premieres at Barbados. That's when we kind of started.
Yeah.
I mean, 2010, 2011, and then kind of dipped down. And then
13.
2014 was our when we started
We did a
getting.
standstill.
Well, 15. Oh, about 14 and 15 has to be still the strongest years for our films.
Yeah, we put out multiple short films. I mean, we kind of stayed away from the full-length features within those couple of years,
Because we just didn't have the time.
but staying away from those full-length
Opened up.
full-length features opened up time for us to just crank out so many short films.
The
Yes.
two sentence horror films.
Those are great.
Oh,
Big
God.
hit.
Yeah.
Selfie.
Yeah.
Has what I think if
2,000, 3,000?
no, it's up there towards 5,000.
Yeah, it's at
I knew it was
4,000.
Yeah, it's reaching 5,000 views right now.
Yep.
And there's another one.
You
Sleep
better
Tight.
mention your wife.
That
Yeah.
one? Yeah. Hi, honey.
I got to work with her on that one.
Thanks
She
for
was
putting Olivia to sleep.
she was professional. Brittany, you were great. You
You
were
scroll
totally
down. You
professional.
scroll down through all of our films, see a bunch of us dudes sitting there going. Then you see Brittany. I'm clicking on that one.
So,
And Sleep Tight was another one that had your daughter in it. Had your daughter in it and her friend, Madeline. So it's like, and that I think that one's one of the higher views too. And I
No,
think
that was Charman.
Yeah.
That was Charman. Sleep Tight was me and Alexis.
that was you and Alexis, but
Yeah.
she played. There was a role of taking the doll under. But anyway, and I think it was just the fact that it was kids, and there's not a lot of things that our films has in movies is younger audiences. So I think just having that sparked up a lot. Like, oh wow, it's not just the same five guys in the movie.
Right,
You know,
right,
it's
right,
different.
That is my son
Plus,
over
Madeline is
occasionally.
a great
I mean,
little actress.
so how did it
Give
feel
her a
working with
shout
your
out.
children there? And
So
other
is
people's
Alexis.
children.
Oh, it's fun. It's I love working with the kids because it gives them something to do. It gives us a reason to go do what we do and not have to look for sitters or not have significant others be like, oh,
I agree, Brian. I agree,
Kids
buddy.
with us.
Girls, do you like working with our films?
And they can be part. They
It's
can
nice
be part
passing
of
that
it.
along
I
to the
mean,
next
Speaking of which,
No.
like, we're here at Brian's because, well, Brian's got kids.
Right.
Give him a
Well,
shout
they're
out.
also there.
Hey.
So, okay, actually, we got a message from Jason Sanders on here.
Oh,
Brought to you by Newport! Woo! This is brought to you by Newport.
His son was on earlier.
There's a couple things. So, the first thing he says is, you need more smoker-friendly food.
Smoker friendly.
Where you at, bro?
And then he proceeds to say that is all. But then he also says 2005. So he must like 2005
Oh, he likes
as
2005.
our film's strongest year.
Okay.
What was 2005?
It was
Rose Lane.
no, that was Round the Bend.
Okay,
Oh,
so
round the bend.
It was
sorry,
not
yes.
as strong.
God damn it, Jason.
Well, it kind of, wait a minute. 2005 was a strong year for our films, and this was before my time.
You know what?
Because that was your
Before
guys' really
That's the
started
first one I ever
making
did
out
with you guys.
films. Every weekend you guys were filming something.
You bring up a good point. 2005. See, this is gonna sound all screwed up. Too late. 2002 is when we started making films. Okay. 2005 was when the Our Films name was created. And that was actually by Derek Sanders. Derek Sanders is the one that came up with Our Films, and it actually wasn't even. We didn't have a name for it. It was like we came up with a movie Round the Bend, and it was just Our
Oh,
Films.
they had a name for it. All right, it was called RBS Productions.
No,
what
that
I
was
look-
before that.
That's what I look at them and go,
No, it was actually WBS Productions.
WBS, but
It
whatever.
was RBS.
RBS came later.
Oh,
We had
okay.
t-shirts and everything. That was because I went to the mall and made t-shirts. Brian's like, screw you. Hey, D, you can stand for both.
Oh,
uh-oh, you got a message from Brittany.
Uh-oh.
I did the shout out for you.
Hey, I'm going to sad click on you.
Hey, I
Her
said
message.
give her credit.
It is a very important message, too.
Yeah, no,
Pick
she
up
said
milk.
that.
Pick up
Get
milk
home.
on the way
You
home.
have 15 minutes to get home.
Bring
Otherwise,
diapers.
you're
No,
on
it
the
doesn't.
couch.
Bring diapers.
No, it says you need more films where Brittany doesn't
Ah, yeah.
We don't know if
She didn't get killed in injury. She's a
don't
phone
know.
person.
My first question is, who's Brittany's? Who's Brittany?
That's my wife.
That's your wife. So now, why do you kill your wife?
We don't know if she got killed.
Well, what do you think? Why does every husband want to kill his wife?
It's fiction.
You know, in selfie, we don't know if you died, Brittany. Okay, you could have fought the good fight and beat up the intruder. We don't know. It's up to interpretation.
And Killers
Lose.
Within. Killers Within.
Yeah, Killers Within. Well,
No, she died in
That was
Killers
Sean.
Within.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
killed
was
her.
Sean.
You killed her, Sean?
Yes.
No, I did not kill her.
And she didn't die in Phasmophobia.
I did not kill her. Yeah, I did. All right, I'll admit it.
Honey,
Killers
I
Within.
promise there will be a movie at
Where you
one
don't
point
die.
where you don't die.
Oh,
Well, she
there-
sent you a
whoa.
kissy face, so she must not be too mad at you. But, I mean, you can always make up for it, like make a love movie or something.
There you go.
There you
We
go.
haven't talked about that, actually.
Yeah, we've been trying to break into porn, but the wife will.
The first R Films love story.
But I love her.
Oh!
A Jeremiah Roberts.
Ah!
But I love her.
Oh!
Coming
It's a horror
2018.
love thing.
Sponsored by
We're gonna
Wendy's.
start a new genre: horror/love, horror romantics.
It's sponsored by Wendy's.
McDonald's.
So I do want to jump into
Hey, let's
it.
not bring back the girls you guys have brought around, all right?
Oh.
All right.
Oh, you know, hold on. No.
Moving on.
Moving on. So let's jump around a little bit, because earlier we talked about how, actually you talked about how Nick was a control freak in a sense. As you can say. But I did see in watching the behind the camera footage that Sean actually got his chance to be a director.
Yeah,
How was that experience
well,
for you?
twice. I've done it twice.
Well,
Oh.
except for Tony. I don't think Tony has his shot yet.
My first time was
kinda co-directed
a
Brian's
train
side.
wreck at best.
I'd like to do one not drunk.
Oh, my first directing job was okay. My first directing.
We're not.
Oh God, I can't even remember the name of the film that you and Brian saved off the scrap room floor.
Ooh, Killers Within.
No, it was not-
Haunted.
The
Oh,
Haunted.
Was that the one with the
That
therapist?
was
The
my.
Red Mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my. Oh God, that night was just a night of horrors. For one, I learned a very big lesson. When you're having a film, have a film. When you're having a fire, have a fire. Do not mix the two. It did not work well.
Those are fights on
I see,
set.
okay. You say some fights on set.
Almost fights.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about that then. What are some of like the difficult times you may have had working with each other, or arguments broke out, fights broke out?
Well,
Wait,
no
wait,
fights.
I wouldn't
No
say
physical
fights.
altercations.
No, no
Never
physical.
broke out.
Okay.
But me and Nick, we tend to butt heads a lot. Like,
We think a scene should be done one way, or
no, we do. Like when it comes to like making things, like I have my own way of doing shit. So does
I
Nick.
can write a book.
Yeah. What's his head? But I will say, anything me and him have come out together.
Ah,
Amazing.
hey,
as
notice I'm in the middle.
Yeah. He's our
I'm in the
middle. No, but
it usually
anything we
is
have-
this way,
anything
folks.
we
I
have
mean,
done
this
together,
is the
though,
way it
We
is.
may butt heads, but it's come out amazing.
Indrid.
Look at Indrid. Like he loves that, and they were saying like the controlling thing. Like, but I also have my way of doing shit, and like I will bug the hell out of him. I've texted him like crazy when he was editing. I was like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. He's like, no, dude. And I was like, he's like, I'm already done. I'm uploading it. No, I'm not ready with that. Let's do it again.
The
And he
remake
gets,
of the
like,
third
yeah,
wheel.
yeah. But in the end, it turns out good.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, we
I
got
mean,
Don't act like you're
there's
innocent, bro.
always some massive.
I always get in the middle.
There's always arguments on set. There's always heated tempers because time restraints, restrictions, length of the film, exhaustiveness, egos.
I won't go too much into detail about it, but there's been a few collaborators that,
Who was
We've
the
had
one?
problems.
Who was the one?
No, I'm talking about.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm talking about time capsule.
We've had some problems with some outside individuals
You
taking
just look at
on.
the picture at that film.
more than
and
what
you'll
they
see
should have.
Brian's expression.
yeah, man.
We've had some. We've worked with very
Okay.
professional people. We've worked with some very unprofessional people. We've worked with people that we cast you in a major role, and you give us the worst acting possible to the point. And not only that, we cast you for a major role. We tell you 6 months ahead of time, this is the day we're filming. That day comes up, and you got to leave because somebody at home wants food. The boss.
Did you miss something?
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I kind of zoned out.
Yeah. What the hell did I miss?
I was concerned about something.
Right,
No, I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
just-
and that's the thing about working on sets, especially when you have so many different creative geniuses around. There's always going to be some kind of
You're gonna bump
differences.
heads.
That's
But what's
Yeah.
always nice is the fact that as soon as the films are down, we always.
exactly.
But that's a cool thing. We're close enough with each other that we can argue, we can talk shit about each other. At the end of the day, we're still sitting here in a room
Yeah.
together.
Right.
Plain
As
and
long-
simple.
I'm ready to
as long
go.
as
How
you're
about you
friends and
talk?
you-
If you didn't like
That's all that
anybody, you
matters.
wouldn't be here. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I hate working with him.
yeah.
He's
I-
such an over fucking actor. I
I
mean,
am.
it's so
I'm a bit of
ridiculous.
a diva.
You say you got to bring like a bagel or like a drink.
Exactly. I mean, he's got to have his Evian water.
Wait. You say you have to have an Evian water?
Yeah, he's got to have his Evian water in his trailer that he imaginary stomps off to.
I came for the comments.
So we have another fan question. This was from Rebecca Cup.
Can't say it.
So she wants to know, is there any type of genre you have not done yet that you really long to put on film?
Yeah, actually.
Musical.
Musical.
So musical
Musical
really is the
romance.
thing you want to
No,
have
that's
happen there.
yes.
Musical romance.
No,
Musical
yeah, romance.
romance,
I know it's kind of
romance,
weird, but I want to
romance,
dive into
or
romance. I
love.
want to try it. I want to see what's
So
up.
now, since you said musical, I want you to shoot me a tune right now. Give the
La,
fans a preview.
La, la,
You guys have fun with this.
la,
I said I'm working. Hold on, let me see your camera. Brian. I don't know what you were.
Shut the hell up.
We
We got Tony
Over there.
He's not paying attention to what's going on.
Gonna take a nap. It's nap time. He's gonna sleep.
Hey, Tony, it's 9 o'clock, man. It's time for you to go to
Oh,
sleep.
all right.
I will bring
There
you
you
home a Coke.
All right.
There you go.
Coke.
Oh, pretty.
Secret messages.
It's cocaine.
Okay.
So, it's definitely a cool idea. I actually can't wait to see that type of movie coming from our films. I definitely can't wait to see like a romance film coming
Yeah, I
from
like
our
to try
films.
different things.
Yeah, we just gotta find you like a nice actress opposite of you, and then just go for the gusto. Give you like your own.
All right,
No,
ladies,
but-
whoever wants to start
No,
with this
no,
man right here.
Right, this is him.
There you go.
This is your Ryan
Well,
Gosling
Damn,
right here.
hey, I wish Backpage didn't shut down.
There you go, Jason.
I think that thing
Thanks,
just
Jason.
like transferred to Twitter now. You just gotta go on Twitter.
Tender. It's
Tender.
transfer to tender. You swipe left or right. Just remember. Do I want to pay for the $50 one? Nope. There's a $20. Swipe right.
You know, and also animation. This is gonna get going.
Go ahead.
It's gonna get going. Animation. Now that we know After Effects a little
Oh,
bit, that
man.
helps out with the process along with
We
Photoshop.
can all do the voices too.
Well, that's what I love. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we don't have to be
Along
near
with
each
the-
other for that.
Along with the comedy and along with, or not comedy, I'm sorry, musical and romantic film. Animation.
But animation for sure. Like Brian, like I know you're talented. You're an artist. You can draw
I
and
just been
everything.
lazy.
But yeah, and it's
So
like
well,
then you
No,
got like
haven't.
you got like
it's
I don't know.
But-
No, I have been lazy, but then a part
you
of
got
it
stuff
is
going
just,
on. Yeah,
yes.
it's understandable.
Yeah.
But like you got Brian, he's a great artist. Me and Tony, like we do a lot of voices,
Love
impersonation
voices.
stuff.
We love
Part of the acting and stuff. It's like I know even Nick does a couple of impersonations. That video me and you did years ago that we had. Yeah. Oh.
That was actually,
Damn it.
believe it or not, that was probably one of my favorite art film shorts.
Provolone.
What was it? Arnold and Sean go get a pizza or something?
It was John Travolta and
Yeah.
Sean Connery go get
Oh,
a
John, let's go
Nice.
get a pizza.
Let's go, Sean.
Okay, so here's a question for you there. What are some of your like most memorable moments, or either least favorite moments on set? Either one.
What was the one we did where Sarah was on the pool table? We were sacrificing her.
That was
Like,
That was just a matter of collaborating with outside people, but everybody had their own agenda that day, and we didn't really come together as a group, and it definitely showed. Like towards the end of the night, we were all kind of, we were all kind of frustrated. We were all kind of, but
yeah, it took a
I
lot
agree.
longer than what it should have.
yeah.
One of those days.
Not to mention he almost popped Sarah's kneecaps out of her sockets.
Yeah, that was a matter of miscommunication.
I said don't drop her. Kyle said drop her.
Yeah. Felt
So-
bad about that.
Yeah.
Felt bad.
It's so real. That's because it happened.
It's so real. Yeah. Well,
Ooh, okay, that's rough. So here's a good question then. So where do you see our films in the next 5 years?
Bigger, stronger.
Constantly growing.
uncut.
Never yeah. Raw. We're gonna dive into a little X-rated thing. We're gonna try something.
A multimedia production.
Yeah, constantly growing, bigger.
I mean,
We're only
name
gonna
now.
grow.
Yeah.
We're only us as individuals. We're gonna grow. We're gonna get bigger. We're gonna get smarter, and that's gonna translate into our films. It's gonna happen. We're not gonna let this go.
Yeah, we're always picking up stuff. I know Nick with his job and everything like that's constantly growing. Brian's doing like freelance and whatnot.
Yep.
I mean, I just got signed to 2 talent agents earlier this year. I'm doing my acting plus I try to do freelance stuff. Now Sean's constantly dabbling with his like
Everything.
everything. I know Tony. He likes to
Anything.
dive into acting and
If you guys
film
need me,
and
I'm
thing.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're always growing. It's not gonna stop. I mean, look what happened in the last 5 years.
yeah,
Imagine another 5 years. It's only gonna
yeah.
get better.
I mean,
Yep.
exactly.
Technology's growing. We're growing.
It's only getting easier to share. It's only getting easier to make people aware.
Yes.
So here we go.
Hey, Derek Sanders is
Uh-oh.
he's on.
Oh,
I wonder if we can
congratulations, Derek.
We have
Baby.
another,
Yeah, buddy.
Your baby's beautiful.
we have another fan question. Who do you want to play you in your Lifetime movie?
Oh,
I almost feel like this is going towards Jeremiah right now. You know.
Christian
Denzel
Bale.
Washington's playing.
Man on fire too.
Right. Woman on Fire. I told you. I sent you that script. No, to play me, I get this all the time. No shit. Like Breaking Bad, Jesse Pinkman, Aaron Paul.
You know what? Y'all
People
look
say I
alike.
look
Y'all
just
do
like
look
him,
alike. You know, now that you bring that up,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Can you say, yeah, bitch?
Yo, bitch.
yo, bitch.
Science, bitch.
Science.
Magnets, bitch.
So
Yeah.
now, one thing I've noticed from a lot of your films, they all seem to have like especially when they're grouped together, like say 2014, 15, like the same type of shooting style. Is there like a certain type of look y'all are going for your movies, or?
No. I wouldn't say.
it all depends. In our horror
change.
film, in our horror films, we always try to keep
Some
the
of it,
suspense.
some of it will look. I mean, that's more on the editor.
Yeah.
If I mean, that's more. Yeah, I mean, that's more on Nick's editing style. I mean,
I will say as an editor though, he does change it up though. Like he
All the
doesn't
time.
really stick to. I mean, plus
One
the camera
format.
stuff, we're constantly trying different stuff. The vertigo shots stuff, we don't
Right.
stick to. I mean, obviously, when you have a certain group of people, there's gonna be a certain way things are done.
I mean, especially that a lot of them has been horror
Yeah.
films. You're gonna get that low tempo, that low key, that low
Yeah.
lighting, like a blue type
Yeah.
tint to the edit or the color temperature of things,
Darker,
and
you know,
You say?
yeah.
Devlin. Okay. So let's dip into Rose Lane. It was a wonderful movie. That was Brian, and was that your daughter, Brian? That you were with?
That was Madeline.
That was Madeline.
My daughter was the ghost.
Your daughter was the ghost.
My daughter was supposed to play my daughter in the movie, but she
She wanted to be kind of like
she
a
wanted to
scarier
be
role.
she wanted to play a ghost.
Pop
or
out and say hi,
something,
girls.
All right.
Pop
Yeah,
out
they
and
need
say
to
hi.
stop on.
You're
They're
all right.
dying. They're antsy. They're
Hello.
over there. They're being good.
Yeah.
You know? So how was that movie? Like, how was the process of making that movie? I know earlier you said that y'all were just having like a party all day.
That was
But-
the original.
That was
No,
the
that was
original.
the original.
So the remake,
No.
y'all were more serious on it.
Oh yeah.
So yes.
Oh yeah, the remake we had the story done, ready to go, collaborated between 3 people with a couple months in advance. Of course, we had to set a time frame or a time date, and we were using equipment that we couldn't just film whatever we wanted to. We had a strict time frame on when to do things.
Well, the biggest issue was also because Brittany was 9 months pregnant.
Yeah, Brittany was 9 months pregnant. I mean,
So we like, as far as with me, it's like I wanted to be there to shoot. I wanted to be there to do the footage and make sure that everything was fine.
But at the same time,
But at the same time, I'm like constantly on my phone. I'm like, Brittany, all right, and everything. We were able to get it done in one day.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Maybe I should be in the middle of that.
But Rose Lane also was pretty cool because I think it was the first movie in our film's history. All of the main crew from our film was in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some of the long
Scott,
runners, yeah, the
I
long
mean,
runners. Yeah, the
Scott,
same
Scott, yeah.
Well, I mean, like just the people.
No,
that are-
Scott and Jason.
Yeah, because Jason, yeah.
No, I'm talking about like the people here, like with Tony. Sean was at the end of mid-credit scene. Derek and Jason did a fantastic job as Bruce Burns. in
And the original, I guess he did.
But I think with you, Jeremiah, you filled those shoes very well. And I think I don't know. I just think it was a really cool film. I mean, all of us were in it.
Yeah.
We had a great time doing it. I don't think there was really any hiccups. Like I think at one point we even went out to eat.
We went out to eat.
That was
Like
our
a ranch
biggest
party,
hiccup.
Yeah.
That was our
Because we
hiccup.
came back
Yeah,
and we were like,
Yeah, they
What's
kind of
our
screwed us up. Yeah.
we were so drained by the time we got back. We
If
had,
you were watching the movie between the first half hour and the last 15 minutes, you could definitely tell the style of camera that was
'cause
done.
that
the
was like
food's
an hour.
digesting. We're like, oh, okay, so take it from the top. All
Tony
right.
goes from Russian to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, like,
JD!
JD, no!
Riley!
It's not a Zuma.
God bless your editing on that, Nick. Thank you.
So,
Is Derek saying he wants Chris O'Donnell?
yeah, he was speaking back to the Lifetime question. He wants Chris O'Donnell.
Christian Bale.
Play me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks, Derek. I don't know where to go with that.
You know, he wants him to wear the Robin suit with the bat that was Robin
Yeah.
and everything on it.
Ah.
So George Clooney.
So we are doing it for
So now, see, so you definitely have some movies that you've remade over the years. Is there another one that you think you may possibly want to redo again?
Oh, we for sure. Justified Vengeance. We were talking.
Yeah,
about.
Justified
Ooh.
Yep. Justified
Justified
Vengeance,
Vengeance
100%.
and Phasmophobia.
Oh, man, if I could be part of Justified
You know what,
Vengeance in any way.
it's
Say
much.
anyway.
Anyway, I don't even care if I'm holding the boom mic. I just want to be part of the new one.
You could
The
be the
story was
boss.
perfect,
Just
but the execution was poor. It was
Yeah.
broken.
But like I
bonds.
said, it was also at the time
Oh,
years
Broken
ago.
Bonds I'm
yeah.
talking about.
Broken
Oh, I would love to do
Bonds.
Broken Bonds.
The
That'd be
execution was terrible.
Yeah.
The story and what was the contents in there
Was that-
beautiful.
Was that our story? Me and you?
That was me and
originally?
you.
Yeah.
I blame the execution and the finished product on that solely on me. And it was the reason why because
But that was in our early years.
watch
too.
it. I know, but watch it through. The aspect ratio changes every 5 seconds. Sean beating you with a twig.
I mean, this guy just wanted to wrestle me to the ground. He didn't want to actually do hand to hand.
Like it was the longest.
He wanted to touch my
drawn-out 20
butt.
he
minutes.
grabbed a little stick and was like, "Let Thor fight like
Yeah,
we're
right.
doing it
I'm trying to
real."
do hand-to-hand combat with this guy, and he just keeps hugging me and taking me to the ground. I'm like, are we hugging?
So we got a correction from Derek. He actually says he wants Chris O'Donnell to play him.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So-
with the Batman nipples.
With the Batman nipples.
Okay.
Fat nipples.
But he also wants to know, do you have any plans to make a kids movie? He says, I'll be in the market for some good family films.
That would be.
Dude, I would love
yeah, I
to
would
do a
love to do
kids
that.
film.
That would be nice.
Coming this summer.
Dr. Doolittle 7.
The Revenge of the Cat in Hands.
Jason Spade.
David Spade. Starring David Spade and Rob Schneider.
Nick Barone is just one editor that can't get the edits off the ground.
He says,
Until
yeah.
one day,
I'd love to have my
The little editor that could.
Exactly. You know, you think about like movies like Grown Ups.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Grown-Ups
Yeah.
Grown-Ups was basically Adam Sandler paying us to watch him and his friends go on vacation. That's pretty much what it was. It's like, well, we could do that.
right.
I'd
Exactly.
love to
Bring
do
the
that.
kids.
Yeah,
And
bring the
they
kids.
got a first
That's
movie.
basically what Fear in the Wild is.
Yeah.
It's just not saying
No,
out of the man tree.
yeah, right. We got enough guys to pull off something.
I really think we do. I think it'd be fun.
You gotta do it.
Like something that's, you know,
It's honestly
No
it's,
bad language. No
never really
nothing.
thought about it before up until that was just brought up.
Yeah, no kidding. That is an excellent question.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be a good. We could probably find that out.
Yeah.
Especially with the way that your kids were acting in the movies. I mean, they seem like great actors in the films that I've watched so far. So just to throw a little bit of comedy in there, make it real lighthearted, that'd be real nice.
Yeah.
We could do the Big Bad Wolf.
Big Bad Wolf.
Little Red Riding Hood.
There you go. And especially with the makeup you did for the movie with the that you did the prosthetics for.
Phasmophobia, yeah.
I definitely feel that you can be able to pull that off.
Phasmophobia, oh my god, the stuff that we can do now. Yeah.
Oh,
I would love
we
to
definitely know
bring
where
Phasmophobia.
we would be heading different with the prosthetics.
Oh, yeah, Turkey?
Hmm?
Yeah, Turkey?
Well, let's dive into with that. Oh, if you want.
Yeah, just, actually, if you want to cut out on that, you can. Okay. It saves.
As long as you can read the questions, that's all that's
Because I
needed.
want to rip it off.
And then this one. All right, just had to stop that so that way it would
So,
not
Rick, we still got 2 going.
die on us.
So we got about 20 minutes if we can.
Oh, we can easily fill it.
Oh, definitely.
Get 20 minutes.
Thank you, sir. I'm not that fat, mother.
I'm just trying to read the screen.
Oh, I got it right here.
Oh, cool. I don't know if there's any questions there.
Giving a fat guy Oreos. Come on now.
Last thing Derek said was hell yeah. So, he really wants that kid's movie.
I mean,
I think we could do a little Red Riding Hood. I mean, I do got a buddy that's got a nice
Like, now that you have the cabin or
person.
anything like that. Like something to give it like that little house in the woods look.
Yeah, we definitely could pull it off. That would not be all that difficult. We could do that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Our film.
Here we are already. All right, guys, fuck off. I see what it was. They're getting tired of us not producing anything. They give us an idea, and here we are already brainstorming it and tossing it back and forth. You see how that worked?
Right.
Guys, that's exactly how our thought process goes when we're making a film. Somebody suggests something, we start throwing it back and forth. 20 minutes later, we have a film.
Stephen King. Done.
Oh, it's gonna be a killer lamp. Rock, rock.
So now, let's jump back over into collaborations now. Are there any groups or people that you've collaborated before or haven't collaborated with that you want to do something with again or for the first time?
That guy from Trinity Wolf.
How about
Screw that. You know what? No, screw that guy. Okay? That guy screwed me over with somebody. You know
He owes us money.
I'd like to do something with Sailfish.
Sailfish, that's the name, yeah. Who? That's April and Moon Man. That would be a nice
Because,
project.
going to school with April for the last year, so I mean, getting to see her work is one thing. Getting into her mind and seeing what she can come up with is way more exciting to me than seeing what she puts out there.
Okay.
You know what I like too? It's like seeing you and the crew from Specs, the way that you guys communicate on Facebook Messenger even, it's amazing. And when I see you guys texting each other and messaging and all that and getting together and you guys are legitimately excited, you compliment each other constantly. It's like, it reminds us of us, like, I don't know, even 8 years ago, something like that. Just back before we rebranded and all that, before Fox 2, like, it reminded me of us when we were like that. And to work with you guys, even like on the last 2 projects with Blowing Smoke and Enemy Within.
I love the Enemy Within, by the way.
It was
Thank
like,
you.
that's what we want to do.
Check out
Excellent
Enemy
movie.
Within.
A lot of high energy,
It
a
was
lot of people
really
wanting
a
to
good
learn, a lot of
movie.
people willing to learn.
And no egos. That's the thing too.
Yeah.
Everybody's chipping
See,
in.
I just met you tonight, and I would like to work with you because of the way that you're conducting this interview. You're very professional, and
Look,
I like that.
We may
I
have
mean,
not
you're joking
done
enough
too
to keep
much
us going.
professional stuff, but egos do not work in this line of
Silent treatment. Silent
Exactly.
treatment.
It don't work.
Be ready to wiggle. I mean, even if you got to give up your whole
It
idea
does
because
go
it's
with
shit, but at least you
the
helped
industry,
out.
but yeah, it doesn't. it makes
when
shit
it
very
comes to
difficult.
making a crew,
Yeah.
when it comes to a crew, when it comes to putting it together, egos don't work. I mean, you'll get your $1 million A-list Hollywood actor out there that
Yeah, but when you're trying to start out, no, it creates a problem. It really
it does. It makes
Slows
people
stuff
not
down.
want to work with you. I mean,
I don't think we really have that problem though. Like,
No, as long as
for the
everybody
most part,
stays
we're
focused.
on board to do.
no, everybody's willing to help each other out, teach each other things, and grow.
That's what I loved when we did
Yes.
Blowing Smoke though. Like we each were, there were certain things that me and you learned from different things from years of doing, and a couple of your guys were just asking us. They're like, "Wow, I've never thought of doing it that way."
Yeah.
And it was like it's just nice to grow in, and we learned things from you guys as
Exactly.
well. That it's nice to do.
And that's how creative collaboration is supposed to be. We're all supposed to learn something from each other. Everyone humble themselves and just know that we're all trying to do this for a better end result.
Absolutely.
Quick message from Derek Sanders to Sean. Tell Sean to watch his language. My daughter is watching this.
Oh.
WWBD.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Jeez, WWBD,
Yeah.
man.
Don't be one of them. Don't be one of them.
So, well, back on the collaboration though. Yes, no, that's definitely a good collaboration idea right there.
Go
Hopefully,
feed your kid.
April watches this and decides to come up with some
Be a parent. Stop.
idea to work on. Anybody else have anybody else that they want to collaborate with that? Hopefully, we'll see this and.
I would like to work with Quackers Production again. That's
Oh, yeah, of course.
that's just a given.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people that I went to school with that I would love to collaborate. I know a couple of them follow me on what
I'd love for Cece to.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yes,
I
I
love
want to get
this
CC
also.
back to it on
Yeah.
music. She was that was amazing.
She's got a passion for music.
Mm-hmm.
She's so gifted when it comes to music.
Sure. Yeah, I saw her studio that one time at her apartment, or her house.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it was great.
Yep.
So, let's move on to another topic then. So after going over the collaborations with the other people, what's some of your best collaborative work that you've done with somebody? And you don't have to bring up the enemy within, since that's just unfair. I'm standing right here. But go ahead. I know you mentioned CC. Tell us a little bit about CC. What is it that CC does for you that makes you want to work with them so much?
Oh, she's just amazing composer of music.
She's all about music. She's all about singing. She's got the right equipment to pull it off. And when she does something, she's all in it. She's all in. She's definitely somebody you can rely on.
She gives as much as we do.
Yeah, Sarah too, and her acting. Like,
Yeah, I'd love to work.
I would
with
love
Sarah
to have
again.
Sarah back in something. Like anytime we have Nick's sister Sarah involved, phenomenal.
So what did Sarah do that blew you away?
She just commits. Like she's
She's-
100%.
and chemistry.
Yeah, she's a relatable person. Like she gets along with everybody. She can get in the scene and just be
She's
where
not
she
afraid
needs
to get
be.
the crap kicked out of her.
Yeah.
She was in that demon costume.
She was in the demon costume.
Oh,
That was her. in that.
That girl was amazing when it
was
came to
40
that.
degrees that night.
Yes.
We had we were in a barn. Doors are wide open.
We had a small kerosene heater that wasn't really doing anything for her. And I mean, here I am tearing on parts of her clothing, and it's like making it more cold.
Sean.
Nope.
Uh,
Nobody can see the talent. Bitch, I'm doing her makeup.
Nope.
No one can see the talent.
Not yet. Yeah, she was amazing. Hey, I didn't even look. Shut the fuck up.
It's not that anybody wanted to look. It's just like, dude.
All right, speaking of Sarah, this is one of the best stories. I was still the first one. Oh, you guys, how was I the first one? It's all the question I have. How was I the first
We're
one?
not gonna get into that.
The hours of power.
Moving
and
on.
everything.
Moving on,
Don't
man.
start.
Tony on a dirt
So-
floor.
But here we go. Here's God assholes thing to drop. No.
Puba the cereal.
So moving on, then we talk about another actor's commitment. That when I was watching the behind the camera footage, I was actually surprised about. So I don't butcher the title. It's The Diary of Michael
James Thomas.
See, look at that. Look at the collaboration right here. So we have Nick right here.
In character. Sorry.
So from the behind the scenes video that you'll find on Our Films Entertainment's YouTube page as well, you will see that this man was in bubble wrap. Was that saran wrap?
It was saran wrap.
Saran wrap. Saran wrap for 8 hours, getting beat on, and like fake blowtorch and everything. In that video. Wonderful video, by the way. But tell us about that experience. How did it feel being wrapped up in that for 8 hours?
It sucked. I was literally strapped to the seat for most of it. Anything I was fed through a straw.
Wait, did somebody chew it up for you?
You know what? It almost came to that point. It was just I didn't want to ruin any of my saran wrap. You know, it was just
like the baby bird method. See Brian over there like, let me just chew this shit.
Brian's over on this.
Don't tell anybody.
I got you the food, boy. No, it sucked actually, but the movie turned out fantastic. I don't know. There's not really much to say about that.
That's all I
That's all I have to say about that.
Like, it's
13 Dr. Pepper.
I gotta go pay. Nick, how you doing, buddy?
That was another thing too.
Nobody who went to a catheter, you know, they.
Oh, just spread it right up to your urethra. Stuck it right up there.
So, okay. So you were in the saran wrap, and then we had Brian on the other end, you know, putting on that emotional display while you were being tortured by Tony.
Yeah, by me. And I didn't go easy on him either.
You did not.
That was by his own design.
Hey, and all I was worried about was getting you off.
Yeah, right, exactly. You're gonna get me off!
That's a daily struggle.
I'll get you off! I swear! I'll get you off!
That's right, you will.
You heard it here first,
Right.
guys.
Was that the deal to set him free? You had to get him off? Oh, my God.
You had to get me off. Acquitted.
Never realized
What we were
any
saying.
of that until we started
watching. They were just like, oh, this
The
is
whole
kind of
time
like,
we're filming it, we never
So
once
sexual.
looked at each other
Yeah.
and laughed or giggled or anything like
you were
that.
in the moment.
It wasn't up until we start. They were editing it, editing it, and then we watch it, and then
It's like a lover's score.
But you can go back to a lot of our films and see that. Like,
True.
Subliminal messages about her pent up sex.
So, now, how was it trying to get into that emotional state of watching this person being tortured and you having to, you know, pretty much plead for this person's survival?
It wasn't hard. Give me 5 minutes, I can make my eyes water. I can cry.
I've seen it happen. I mean, on a set of one of the films we just worked on recently, The Enemy Within, he wanted to get like that drunk look, so he was just sitting there poking himself in the eye for like 5 minutes. I don't see how you can do that. I couldn't just poke myself in the eye like that. This man is very dedicated to his method acting.
Definitely.
Now, we have a question here from Ryan Shea.
All right.
What's up, player?
You know, we answered this question earlier, but we definitely want to go ahead and answer it for him again. We want to definitely support our fans. So, does our films have anything in the works filming-wise?
Now we do.
So, earlier it was a no.
We got at least a kids movie in the works now.
They have a kids movie, a musical, a
What about your
romance,
mom?
and apparently porn.
Porn is always there, but it never gets
Yeah,
released.
We'll make an announcement here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah,
And everything is brought to you by Newport, just to make the smoker happy.
We don't want to promise anything too early. You know, just
We got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to discuss.
a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, and now Derek's got a question. I hear you quote other movies. What are your
Derek.
favorite art film quotes? For example, next time read better.
Oh man.
You're forever
Was it,
fucked.
YFF.
Yo.
what was the other one Jason did?
Yeah. I was on a fucking motor
Going
ride.
on like a motor ride.
no, my favorite one is all I do is win. Oh, that was back from 2000.
I knew that was coming up.
Yeah, Scream.
That's definitely my
Oh,
favorite.
man.
There's a couple.
That award-winning Killers Within.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, we already said JD.
That was
We
good
already did.
film.
JD though.
No, but that's something we would definitely like to consider in our future films from now on, is making that one little line that
We've done pretty good at doing
Actually,
that.
my favorite one is.
Yeah, more.
They're gonna get you.
They can't get you. Well, that's in the outtakes. I like when Sean's looking over at one of the.
They released
in
the.
Phasmophobia. Hold on. When you're in the therapy scene in the beginning, and it's very subtle. Very subtle. You know where I'm going.
Oh.
And Sean's. He's pointing. He's like crabs. It's very subtle.
Okay, the therapy scene was. If you guys haven't seen the movie, it was me and Brian, and we were in a group session, and I was playing Lenny, his asshole friend.
Not a stretch.
I'm pretty good about this.
Like an autobiography.
Yeah. I seem to find myself in that role a little bit more than what I would like to admit, but the shoe fits.
Okay.
But I was sitting next to one of our actresses, and I just immediately started ripping on her because, well, I'm an asshole in the movie, so I started ripping on everybody. Like, I'm sitting next to a germaphobic, and I go, oh, hi. I mean, little things like that, and I'm sitting next to her, and I go, look, crap. And she's wearing a scantily thing, and it's...
Yeah.
They're going to get you.
We're on a road trip.
Everybody needs to get that type of stuff on camera. Okay. So one last question I want to ask before we go ahead and get ready to wrap the show up for everyone. Over the multitude of films that you've done, I've seen Tony and Jeremiah play so many different characters.
Word up.
Yeah.
I'm saving my monster.
Sounding like a drunk.
Tony's tonight character is drunk.
Right?
He ate 5 bags of Oreos. He shouldn't be drunk.
Ready for a nap.
So I just want to ask, is there any character
Soak
that
up the
you
alcohol,
kind of
bro.
like
Soak up the
connected
alcohol.
with over the time that you've been doing these films?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Yeah, is there any one character that you played that you kind of connected with, that you enjoy really playing that character?
Oh, God.
I got two. Like, well, I said Detective Dale Peters for me, and then Michael McGavin. Those are like the hard hitting ones for me. Like, those are the ones that I really put everything into those. Like, I really got into it. Like, Detective Dale Peters. Yeah, like, I did like the New York accent.
Terry.
Yeah.
And I can't remember mine either.
Lenny.
Yeah. Yeah, Lenny got...
No, Frankie.
Yeah,
Frankie,
Frankie and Terry.
Frankie was mine, and then Lenny, because, well, Lenny was the asshole, but Frankie was the calculating son of a bitch, and, I mean, me and Brian just played so perfectly off of those two roles.
Yeah, you guys played great villains together, but me and Nick, we also, like, did really well as cops. Like,
actually, one of my favorite scenes in that would have to be probably Nick's basement.
Oh, yeah.
At the time where you almost gave Nick a concussion, and I almost broke Jeremiah's wrist with a damn dog chain.
Definitely Michael James Thomas for me.
Michael James.
I love playing the bad guy with Michael James Thomas. I got to play the bad guy in spades, and that was really fun.
Yeah, it was a wonderful character. And I definitely hope that everyone does eventually go on to YouTube and check out all of these videos from these amazing creative geniuses. So we want to go ahead and get ready to wrap up the show tonight. So once again, we are here with the R Films crew. Before we missing a member or two.
Hold on, there is one other thing that we have to say.
You got one say?
We got one thing. We got one thing we want to bring across. Girls coming up.
Yay!
We got to give them their time in their life.
2 minutes.
You see
No,
these two girls right
no, we can try again.
Hey, don't talk to us. Talk to the people over there at home.
That's right.
Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Alexis. I'm Natalie. And we have our YouTube channel.
Go ahead.
Go.
It's called AM Daily Vlog. Nope. And we make daily videos about what we do in our life.
It sounds like we're having a collaboration issue. Welcome to the film industry.
You talk now. No.
Come on, girls.
You, ladies and gentlemen, we have Alexis and Madeline. They have their YouTube channel called A&M Daily Vlogs that they are really trying to get out to show people and see what they can do, because they would love to be
YouTube sensations.
You guys see all those hearts flying across the bottom of the screen?
Right. Everyone loves you. See, look at that.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you can see them in a lot of our film
Definitely be seeing them more.
features lately.
That
Great.
Joseph Johnson, he's been part of a lot of ours. My son.
Yep.
And we
We
got 2 more up and coming, and then we got 2 more that'll definitely be in some.
See, and this is leading towards our film's kids movie that they're gonna be coming out
Yep. They're the stars of the
I got
kids
a couple
movie right
of
there.
that I'm gonna hear about.
He's got a basketball team coming to him.
Welcome to the Scary Uncle Five.
And before you know it, he's going to have a football franchise.
Our YouTube channel.
So-
Someone
Can't
says,
do it right
"Can
now."
you read?"
Here.
So once again, we just want to thank all the Facebook fans for coming out here and tuning in and
Thank
watching us tonight. Definitely check out their channels. We got 2 YouTube channels for our films. There's Our Films Classics and there's Our Films Entertainment.
I do
That's
want
You
to
know
say
what?
something real
This
quick.
pisses me off. You want to know what pisses me off about you and you? All right? I mean, seriously. Get along, goddammit. Get over your stuff. I don't care. What?
Tony, you're an asshole. What?
It's done. It's over. Rabble, 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 rabble.
If you're not already, be sure to follow them on Facebook under Our Films Entertainment.
And I do want to say we do appreciate every single one of you that always, dedicated to watching our stuff and following us.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Thank
Without
you.
you,
We
there's
love
no
you.
us. That's right.
Exactly. So if you haven't seen them,
You know what? I got something to say.
check out their behind the scenes, behind the camera footage. And once again, my name is Lonnie Adams from Trinity Wood Productions, and
I'm like,
thank you for watching.
Give us a round of applause. Thank you for watching.
I'll be home soon, hon.